My name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo, Albiceleste.com. I am joined by the one, the only, the living legend himself, Sebastian Garcia. Seba, how are you?
Oh, still undefeated, but the first win for us in this new era for Mundo Albiceleste here on YouTube. I'm very, very happy to be here again. Double happy because we won, and I'm already anticipating a lot of comments, a lot of interactions with our viewers, and wherever they are in the world, I'm sure they have a smile in their faces like we do.
Yes, probably even bigger than our smiles. I suffered a lot. I don't know about you, Seba. I suffered a lot throughout
You
the
know what I
90
was
minutes.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking. Obviously, I think we suffer a little bit more because we were coming from a series of three games in which we were leading, and then we couldn't close them. So we were like kind of anticipating that it was going to happen again. But thankfully, this time it didn't happen. And you know what? I think we suffer more than the game deserved, or than the game really tested us with, because if we go into the goal statistics, the goal numbers, Uruguay didn't register a single shot on goal. I mean, that is when you have a team playing against you with the quality that Uruguay has, and all those many goals Suarez and Cavani have combined at the international stage to keep those keep those guys without a single effort on goal. I mean, that is I think is what
Huge.
made me the happiest. You know. Yeah.
Absolutely. And before we continue, I just want to say hello to everybody. I see the chat. You were right, Seba. The chat is very, very lively.
Nice.
Um, Everyone's here. Everyone's very happy. Uh, I'm happy. It's so much to get to. A lot of positives. I think we have more positives this time than the last time. And I agree with you in that. I think we suffered maybe more than we should have, because if you watch the game, specifically in the second half, yes, Uruguay had the ball a lot, had possession, but at no point did they really come close. It was maybe that one cross in from, I believe,
Hmm.
it was from the left wing, their left wing off
Yeah,
Molina, where that missed Cavani and Suarez. But other than that, they didn't really do too much to threaten
absolutely. I thought for a second, if you remember in the first half, that close call where
the
they had to
penalty.
check, yeah, whether it was a foul by Guido Rodriguez on Cavani.
Uh,
My heart kind of stopped at that moment, because it was like, okay, again we concede another goal right after we score and we go ahead.
yeah,
That was going to be a huge disappointment, but I think it was a let off that we had. I think it was, referee with a little bit more intent, or with a little bit more of a second intentions, could have given the penalty, because there was
yeah.
a little contact there between Cavani's right foot and Guido, but I think Cavani play act too much, and it wasn't given, so it was good. Um, Sometimes we see those calls going the other way, but it was good.
Yeah.
But I think other than that, as you mentioned, it was only one cross. Cavani almost hits it, but other than that, nothing from Uruguay,
Yeah.
and I think that was on us. I mean, that was our merit, because we didn't let them.
Yeah, and to add to the penalty, or the VAR, what I think, and I thought about this right when the referee decided no penalty. If this was in Europe, if this was the Euros, that penalty is given, because they are
Probably,
giving the penalties in the Euros. They're giving them for the most minimal of contact. And
yeah,
in the Copa, yes, we've gotten a couple of maybe a penalty or two in the Copa, but generally speaking, I thought the referee did a good job. To be
yeah,
honest,
yeah.
in general, not just on that.
Yeah, in Copa America, in Copa Libertadores, in South America, previously before VAR was introduced, you had to lose a couple of limbs to be given a penalty. You had to you had to have a bloody face, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Hey, John, how are you?
John, good
You from
morning.
Malaysia? Yeah, one of the founders of Mundo Albiceleste, I have to say,
Yeah,
he's been with us for ages, like
yeah.
at
Since the
least
start, pretty much, almost.
at least four World Cup cycles, right? Since
Oh my God,
2006.
it's
Yeah,
it's been that long, yes.
Good morning to you. Happy Saturday for you in Malaysia, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, a win finally. That was good. Here's to you, John. I'm gonna uncork it. Yeah, here's to you.
We do everything here. We do
We
everything.
deserve
We
it.
talk, we discuss,
Yeah,
we take your comments, and we have drinks apparently.
absolutely.
uh, let's get to what we're starting off on a high, and I think this entire show is going to be a big positive. But let's get to the goal. So Messi, it's a short corner played in. Messi keeps it, sends the cross in. Guido scores. Guido Rodriguez, a player who 24 hours ago was not even supposed to be playing, was not even supposed to be starting. Obviously, Leandro Paredes not 100%, so Guido comes in. What did you think of the goal, and what did you think specifically about Guido Rodriguez, Seba?
Well, I was saying before the game, I had a couple of conversations with some friends. Some of them were asking for Guido to play ahead of Paredes, even if Paredes was fit to go. I said maybe this knock that Paredes has, even though I like him a lot, for this particular fixture will suit Argentina better because at the end of the day, Guido gave us a lot of balance. He was immense, covering a lot of ground, and obviously it's
Mhm.
what he does best. It's what he's used to do. Um, but then I didn't expect him to score, but that is the beauty. That is the beauty of things. But you know what I wanted to say about the goal and a couple of other instances. Whenever we had a free kick in the first half, sorry, a corner kick in the first half, do you notice that we play them all short?
Short.
It's yeah, that's how I play on FIFA, on PlayStation. I don't, I never send the cross direct from the corner kick. I play it short because I'm useless at sending crosses. But I kind of I was joking with Felipe, my son, but I think it was very clever. I think that's not what you see every day. We
Yeah.
changed for the second half, maybe because we were sending fewer players to the box, and we
Mhm.
tried to win a header or something. But I really liked the way we played it short. Messi had company on both sides of the pitch,
Yeah.
and then one of the goal came from a similar position, a similar situation in which Messi had options to play a 1-2 or to go for the individual run, but instead he crossed it, and he crossed it perfectly, and it was Otamendi there, but Guido got with a clear
Yeah.
header, and he placed it.
Well,
He wasn't just heading with his eyes closed.
no.
He chose where he wanted to place it.
Yeah. And on the topic of playing the corner kick short, before the goal, I think it was the first corner kick of the match where they played it short. Messi passed it, I believe it was to De Paul. De Paul sent the cross in, and
Yeah, yeah,
Otamendi, and you can tell that was something that they practiced on the training ground, probably in
yeah.
training.
And
And
I think that caught Uruguay off guard. They were not
yeah,
expecting that kind of short corner kicks. So that was good. That was
no,
good.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I kind of get the feeling maybe Scaloni, Ajala, and Samuel are watching us because a couple of things that we spoke about on the last show kind of happened. We said, well, number
Yeah.
one, we said this team has to keep their composure in the start of the second half, and they did. We said, how could you have someone like Ajala and Samuel and kind of not be that good maybe at set pieces? And that was fixed.
Yeah.
And we spoke about Guido Rodriguez and maybe him coming in instead of Paredes, and that happened.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep the comments coming. Let's make
Yeah.
sure listening.
Maybe they turn the video off. They turn the computer off when we were talking about not making stupid substitutions, because we did. We made a few today. I think it's happening every time. It's worrying
Yeah.
because at the end, well, we finished this game on a high. We won. We should have scored a couple more. Uruguay was never in the game, never threatened Argentina, but that's not that that it doesn't necessarily mean that we did everything right. And I think the team got worse with every substitution that we were making,
Yeah.
because I really like Joaquin Correa, but I just couldn't understand what was his role. But maybe I'm getting ahead because I'm going to the second half. Maybe let's take it easier. Um, um, there was a comment there
So
just a minute ago about Molina. I think he was great. I think it was great today. I'm very happy to have a very decent option as a right back. He had a very good understanding with Messi. I felt.
Mhm.
I won't say just like
It was not.
he had
It's
with
not
Dani
Dani
Alves. Yeah,
Alves. It's not Dani
it's not Dani
Alves. But
Alves. It's not. But he had a couple of situations in which he found Molina. Molina found him back, and especially in one of the comments, there was a mention on the shot on goal that Molina took. It would have been the icing on the cake for him,
oh,
but he did very well to get to that position, to scoring position, wide open. Messi did fantastic to see him and to
wow.
play that ball to him, and
Yeah.
he really took a good shot to the first post, and Muslera did very well to push it away.
And
But overall, it was a fantastic performance by Molina, I have to say.
yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And just to add actually to what you just mentioned about Molina, Carl Davies writes in the first half, Uruguay was attacking from their left end, uh,
Yeah,
which meant that Molina was their target. But the second half, it kind of switched. I thought Molina did very well in the first half, and you could kind of tell him and De Paul had some understanding. Obviously, they played together
yeah,
at Udinese, but you
yep,
can kind of tell a couple of times De Paul was just kind of pointing to Molina, do this, do that. And the second half, Uruguay switched it, and they went maybe a little bit more centrally and a little bit more towards Acuña's side. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
let's. I'm just
Do you
taking a
want to
look
talk
a little bit
about?
here.
Yeah,
Yes,
maybe
go ahead.
we can talk about how we played in the first half. Maybe we can talk about some individual performances. I think the first
Yes.
half was great. Just, I think I'm not even sure what I'm about to say, but I kind of compare it at some point with the first half we did in Barranquilla because we scored pretty early. We kept possession. Well, Uruguay had a bit more possession than Colombia did in that first half,
Yeah.
but we really made it. We really created problems for Uruguay. We created goal scoring chances. We couldn't put them away, but we had like five shots on goal in the first half alone. Then in the second half, it was a different story. But the first half, I think we were far superior. Maybe Uruguay had a bit more possession when they were 1-0 down, but we were amazing on the ball. We were in control. We were creating chances. There was a lot of movement, a lot of understanding, and I think we've seen in this team we are seeing that when you have a lot of players with a high footballing IQ, it tells, and you can tell,
Mhm.
um, you can enjoy what you see a lot more. Yeah, because you don't have many players that are a liability. They know what to do. They keep possession. They keep the ball. They don't do
Mhm.
anything stupid, and they're very intelligent to run into spaces to find each other. So to me, that was the highlight of the game. The first half was a great performance by Argentina overall. If
Yeah.
we score a couple, if we score a couple of goals in that first half, nobody could have complained. Nobody could have said it was against the run of play or anything like that. So to me, it was fantastic. And yeah, Suman is saying Guido is a perfect number five. I have to agree. He was today. He was immense, and he had top opposition in front of him.
Yes.
Don't underestimate what Uruguay has, and he was great. He was in control. He was a big support for defense and for the
Yeah.
midfield. So it was good. It
And
was a
and
very
that's
very good performance.
Yeah, and that's something we spoke about. We said, we don't have that Mascherano or Kante like France, but we need that maybe that safety blanket that we spoke about yesterday in the
Yeah,
previous video in the build up. And it showed Guido was the guy, and now it's we're gonna maybe talk about this in another video and everything, but what happens with Paredes? Eventually Paredes is gonna get healthy, but to go back to Paredes, considering that the match, forget the goal that Guido scored, but just in general, the performance that Guido put in, do you drop
yeah,
Paredes for Guido? It's gonna be a situation.
yeah. I think if I were a manager, I'm not obviously far away from far off from being one, but I would I like managers that take the opposition into consideration. Maybe not those that are obsessed by the opposition and then they become too rigid or too scared or too afraid, or they do stuff that is not very convenient for the side. But I think it's good to have options, and I think Paredes is very useful when you know you're gonna have 80% of the ball. You
Mhm.
know, like against somebody, against a team like Bolivia, which you're gonna face in a couple of games. I don't know if it's gonna make a lot of sense to have somebody who will never or very random, seldom cross the midfield, get into scoring position or get or be a lot of time in possession. So it gives you options. You can play Guido when the opposition is really tough, and it's gonna be pretty even, and the ball is gonna be split in terms of possession. But so it's good to have options. And in this case, Guido only came into the team because Paredes was a bit injured.
Yeah.
So it's good that he had 90 minutes under his belt. He scored. He's got a lot of confidence now. And Paredes is gonna, whenever he's called into action again, he's gonna have that chip on his shoulder. Like, okay,
Yeah.
the guy who replaced me, not only he had a great game, he also scored the winner. So I have to pay attention. I have to stay
Yeah.
on top of my game.
Yeah. It's good when you have healthy competition, because at
Yeah,
the end of the day it is, and it's a tournament, and like you said, and I feel like maybe Scaloni is the type of coach that does take it game by game depending on the opponent, because he switched it up again today. Obviously, Acuna instead of Tagliafico, no Montiel on the right side. So I believe, yeah, he's the type of coach that would change it up depending on the opponent.
yeah. I also, maybe the viewers and the guys that are watching and commenting can talk about it. But do you think he's giving some share of the minutes to players, like, for example, not all of them, because he goes with these top guys. There
Mhm.
is a core team. He goes with Messi, De Paul, Lo Celso when he's fit. Now apparently Romero is gonna be like the first pick in the central
Rightfully
defense.
so.
Yeah, rightfully so. And also Lautaro up front. He goes with that core team, that core set of players, and
Mhm.
then he switches. Sometimes he plays Nico Gonzalez, who's starting to become a regular starter. Sometimes he plays Tagliafico and Acuna, and I don't know if that's something that he had already talked with the players. Scaloni talked with the players and said, "Okay, we're gonna play one game each because there's a lot
Mhm.
of games." Maybe that is a possibility, but only on the basis of performances and on current form and potential and ability. I don't think he should be changing that much on the left side of defense. I think that's
Yeah.
Acuna's place. Um, like
I
for him to have, I mean, he should be
Yeah.
playing there all the time.
It's Yeah. Argentina's played 4 matches in the past 2 weeks now. Tagliafico started two, Acuna started two, and forget the penalty by Tagliafico versus Chile. Just in general, if we look at the performances, I think Acuna has shown that he's, at least at the moment, playing better than Tagliafico and fits this team better than
Yeah,
Tagliafico. And I think that's the most important thing. Not only form, but he fits the team better because when moving forward, he does offer that width. He does hug the touchline. He does move forward. His crosses, his passes. So
hmm
maybe Tagliafico at times is a bit more solid defensively, but I think just in general, the way Scaloni is setting this team up, especially at times if he thinks about going with a back three and a midfield five, Acuna has that flexibility and able to offer what he needs.
yeah. He was a rock in defense too.
He
Today
was,
he won. He won almost every duel that he had. He
yeah.
was, to me, that was a very, very good performance by
So
Acuna, same as he had in Colombia.
yeah,
For the record, yeah,
so
that is
so we've been
sorry,
talking about. Oh, sorry, we've been talking a lot about the positives, the good, and
yeah.
and everything. Top three. What are the top three things that you thought? Okay, the good. What did you like about this match?
Well,
Could be a moment, a
first of all,
player, anything.
yeah, no, first of all, we won. We kept the clean sheet. I don't know if that counts for two, but uh, and then the third is pretty much they're all related. But the third will be we didn't let a lead slip through our
before.
fingers. Yeah, yeah. We um, those would be my 3 points. It's pretty easy, pretty pretty obvious what I'm picking.
Yeah.
But then if we go a couple of more layers, going deeper into the analysis, I really like our midfield. I think it was very very good. The defense as well. They had
Hmm.
to cope with Suarez and Cavani. Romero, Otamendi were great. Um, and then the wing backs were really good as well. So I think
Okay.
those are my positive. The way that we played in the first half, um, and well, the way that we were able to secure the win without much suffering.
Yeah, and it's everything you said. That's my top three, but it's we have so many other things. Like we look at Rafi, you said Guido, De Paul, and the 3 points. Guido,
Yeah,
obviously, we spoke about De Paul. I think without because when Paredes is there, I think De Paul has some defensive responsibilities. And when
mhm.
Paredes wasn't there today, it was Guido. I thought De Paul was more free moving forward, and I think that's probably why De Paul, in my opinion, had a very solid game. I don't know if I'll put him in my top three. My top three, it's so I have a top 10. I have a top 10. What do you guys think in the chat? Give me some ideas. I have
Yeah,
so
yeah,
many
yeah.
things.
No,
Let
let's
us
play
know in
this
the chat.
game. Let's play this game. We should just talk about the human beings. We have to leave Messi aside when we
Yes,
are picking the
Messi.
top
Yes,
three because
no
he's
aliens.
obviously no aliens. But yeah, other than Messi, because I think there is a consensus
Yeah,
the way he played.
it,
Even if he plays like average to his usual standards,
it's
he is
still
the
high.
best. Yeah, of course.
He's
So it's unfair.
so
It's unfair for the rest. But what about the best, the
I
top three, not named Messi? That would be the game
I
for.
okay. I have one name, which I know people are going to throw things at me, attack me, call me crazy. Maybe you have an idea who I'm thinking of.
I think I know. I think I know.
Nicholas
Yeah.
Otamendi.
I don't know.
Ot-
I thought you were going to pick the goalkeeper, who had a
no,
great
well,
game,
okay.
but wasn't too busy.
I'll say that. Okay, so obviously our best defender is Christian Romero. That's no doubt
Yeah,
about it. But I'm happy with Otamendi. I'm not saying I want Otamendi to start the next game and I want him to be automatic starter. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying based off of this match, I thought Otamendi made no mistakes, won the aerial duels, and winning aerial duels against the likes of Luis Suarez and Edison Cavani is never easy. I thought he did very well. Obviously, he's error prone, and I understand that. And I think we've spoken about this at length, at length.
yeah,
But based off today, I thought Otamendi was solid. Obviously, Romero is my number one.
yeah,
Aside from Messi, I'd say Emiliano Martinez. I would say Christian Romero, and I would say Guido. Although De Paul should probably be in there as well.
yeah,
Martinez for me just adds. Whenever a cross is sent in, I'm never worried anymore.
yeah,
For the
yeah,
longest
yeah,
time, I used to be worried. Now it's like, yeah, no problem. He's gonna go and get it,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and his distribution isn't too bad either. He's
No,
not a Neuer or an Ederson or anything like that, but he's good.
no, and he's really into the game. There was a
Yes.
moment in which there was a very long ball being played. It could have caused problems because Suarez was chasing that, and he was just at the edge of the area, and he grabbed it like this because he was paying attention to it because it
Yeah.
was a fast ball, and some keepers will stay a bit behind, give that advantage, give that bit of room, and he owns. The box. He owns the
Yes.
area,
Yes.
and
He does.
that is great. That is great to have.
Yeah.
But today he wasn't called into action that much.
Mm.
I think he had a quiet game. He didn't have to intervene that much.
Yeah.
So I'm not putting him in the top three because I think there were higher points.
Go
Um,
for it.
I'm going with Guido.
Okay.
Maybe in no particular order. Maybe we can,
In general. In general.
because, yeah, Guido, De Paul, because of what he provides in both um, boxes.
Yeah.
He's at some point he's pressuring the goalkeeper, he's pressuring Muslera, and then in the same play he's recovering the ball back to
Yeah.
winning back for Argentina. He was immense. He played the ball with a lot of sense. He was careful on possession, causing troubles, playing some passes into Uruguay's box, and also Acuna. I have to I have to pick Acuna as well because of the multi-dimensional game that he has, and
Mhm.
um, he was a lock there. I mean, there was
Yeah.
no going through him, and he provided options for his teammates. Link up play. He even had a shot on goal in the first half. I think he had an imperious performance tonight.
No, absolutely, absolutely,
Let's see
and
what our viewers are saying.
yeah.
Any
So
Molina
go.
Romero?
Yeah, Emiliano, Molina, Romero, Martinez, Acuna, um, and
I
let's go through these other ones. Yes.
I have to disagree with one name there, of what Mesmer is mentioning, because I think Lautaro had a poor game today. I love him. I'm a true supporter of
Oh,
Lautaro. He should continue to be the number nine because he needs confidence. He needs to. Uh, One day, he will. The goal will open for him, and then he won't stop scoring.
so
I think he's lacking confidence and he's overcomplicating his chances whenever
yeah.
he has an opportunity. He was careless in possession today. He has a lot to improve based on what we've seen today. Today was the worst game of this stretch that we just had, but I think he should stay there as our first pick as number nine.
Okay,
Coming.
okay. So, and it's funny you mentioned Lautaro because we're getting a couple of comments here. Particularly this one from Raf. He says Lautaro missed a chance that Bati, Crespo, and Melito would have buried.
Which one? The
Further,
one the one that Messi shot, Muslera
the
deflected. I
Messi shot.
think, yeah. On first viewing, I thought that he really missed it, and then on the second viewing and every replay that I saw, it looked like the ball was too high and too behind. I think he was
It's
past the ball, um,
yeah,
and
but in
it's bad fortune. I think.
yeah, he was unlucky on that. He was unlucky, but the general consensus here, I mean, I think everyone's agreeing in the chat. Amen, right? So Lotaro was not good today. I don't believe he was either. We get
Mhm.
another comment here from Paulo Miguel. He says El Toro had a terrible game, and we're gonna get to it. And I
Yeah,
guess we may as well kind of get to it now. So Seba, the not so good.
yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to put him there as one of the things. But maybe I throw everybody here a question: is it because he's lacking a striking partner? He does so well playing together with Romelu Lukaku at Inter. Maybe he needs a bit of company there. Maybe um, I would have liked to see him getting more company. Maybe if the game was not 1-0 to Argentina early on and then um, in the middle of the second half, maybe the substitutions would have been different. Maybe Scaloni would have sent somebody to push forward.
Mhm.
And talking about the not so good, I think the substitutions again.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, to me, that was that was worrying because it seems like Scaloni does well to put a starting 11
Hmm.
to to organize the team to set it up in a way that they play in a very good collective way, but then he doesn't read the games as well as we would have liked, because
No.
every time he introduces substitutions the team gets worse, and this has been the case in the last few games. It's not just
It's
today.
it's worrying. Yeah, it's worrying. Sorry, not to cut you off there, but you mentioned something in terms of how Scaloni probably doesn't read the game too well, and that's something that worried me, especially not because it's Uruguay, but against Tavares. Oscar Tavares
Yeah,
is their coach, tactical mastermind, and you have
yeah,
someone that has over 30 years of coaching experience up against Scaloni, who has 3 years coaching experience at most, and
mhm,
that was very worrying to me. And to a certain extent kind of evident. And you mentioned the substitutions, and I'm trying to understand Scaloni's substitutions today because I know he was trying to play off the counter, right? I think he tried to play off the
yeah,
counter attack. That's why he
yeah.
brought in Di Maria and maybe Palacios to add that speed,
Correa as well. Yeah,
Correa, but it
yeah,
didn't work.
yeah. we lost shape. We gave Uruguay the ball. We Ezequiel Palacios. I think he had a quiet game. I really like him. I think it's one player that we're gonna see in the national team for ages. And Simeon, I don't know if you're trying to tease me or what. Or I felt Di Maria was another part of the not so good because he was careless in possession. He didn't finish any play. But before we go to Di Maria, um, I think what we lost with all those substitutions was the balance that we had, and I think those substitutions came really early into the second half. Uh, it, Admittedly, Lo Celso had to leave because of an ankle injury, so that was a substitution that happened roughly after 5 minutes in the second half. So that was disappointing. And it was one for one. Palacios for Lo Celso, kind of they play a
Fairly
similar type
similar.
of game or position, yeah. But then when he dropped Lautaro to put Joaquin Correa,
Yeah.
is what I was saying before. I just couldn't understand what Correa's role was, or his position, or the intent. Um, I like that comment a lot more, a lot, a lot better. I agree with you, Tansim. Wherever you are in the world, you have a friend in me. But seriously speaking, we lost the cohesiveness that we were having up until that point, and we gave Uruguay the initiative.
Yeah.
Luciano Molina saying Correa was invisible. Maybe it's the same thing that happened with Lautaro. Maybe the system doesn't favor a number
So,
9. That is the
so,
question that we may be asking ourselves.
so let me ask you this, Evan. I know you still have kind of another maybe not so good to list, and obviously we're going to go through everyone else's comments as well. We'd love to know what you guys think. But you've mentioned, and everyone's mentioned in the chat as well. Well, Lautaro was not playing alongside another striker. He's not playing alongside Lukaku. Maybe the system doesn't fit him, and that's fair. But if the system doesn't fit him, do you stick with Lautaro then, knowing that this is what you're going to get every match?
There's another element to that, because maybe the system doesn't fit him that much, but he fits the system in a way that he does a lot off the ball, and he contributes a lot with his runs. If you look at it in the first half, he had a couple of runs to spread the defense, to open it up, that gave Messi a lot of space, and
So,
he made
so
himself available for a couple of moves in which, if a pass came to Lautaro, who knows what could have happened. But still, there was I know what Lautaro can bring, and uh, there was something missing today for him. But
yeah.
it could be that he sacrifices a lot for the team. You see that in so many teams that play with a number 9, that doesn't necessarily become the top scorer of the team,
Mhm.
because he does other things for the team that are perhaps a little bit invisible. But then, on the other not so good thing that I had to mention, maybe I can link it up with this,
Yeah.
it's that we are not putting away our chances, or
Mhm.
giving a better destiny to all the good intent that we have. And that would be because we could have been 2-0 up in the first half. We could have scored a couple in the second half if we chosen differently at
Yeah.
times.
No, absolutely, and this is blasphemy. And I'm not trying to say anything, but there was a couple of opportunities, and this will actually probably please you, Seba,
Mhm.
because when I saw this, I'm like Seba's probably happy about this. So there was a couple of times in the second half where Messi was in and around the penalty area, and he had Di Maria completely open on the right side. He
Yeah,
did
he
nothing.
missed. Yeah, he missed Di Maria in one of those moves. I think he
Yeah.
didn't saw him, but it was rare and weird that Messi didn't see him, because he was really wide open. I know what the play that you're talking about. And then there was another. Then there was another. If you remember, everybody will remember, because Messi kept possession in the box
Mhm.
for like ages, and he was doing like this. And then when everybody closed up, he brought all the Uruguay defense in
towards
I
him.
don't know.
They were all attracted
Yeah,
towards him.
in 1 square meter, and
Yeah.
then two Argentine players were wide open on the left. I think one was Correa and the other was Acuna, and then he played the logical pass. It was a 1 meter pass back to Di Maria,
Hmm.
and Di Maria, instead of
Shot it.
playing the ball, instead of playing the ball to those two open players who were gonna be face to face with the keeper because all the defense was doing this, coming to the other side,
Yeah.
Di Maria shot with a couple of guys blocking,
Yeah.
and it ended up in the corner as for a corner kick for Argentina, but he shot with two markers right in front of his face. That is not
Yeah.
what you expect. Yeah. Lo Alp
And
says, is that an I or an L? I think it's an I. IO Alp. Yeah. I'm
maybe.
biased as a lifelong Independiente fan, but worth giving Agüero some playtime.
Do you at this
I'm on
point?
the opposite. No, I'm on the opposite uh, sidewalk because I'm a Racing fan. But I think Agüero well, it goes without saying he's a top
But
talent. But maybe it's a matter of fitness. Maybe he's not there yet in
Mhm.
terms of providing 90 minutes of intensity or giving you something. But and today I think Scaloni went with Correa because he wanted more of a mixed type of position for him, a bit of a
Yeah.
hybrid position, which Agüero wouldn't have provided. He wanted somebody to track back a little bit. Correa was far away from Muslera
Mhm.
most of the time, and Agüero is not to play in that kind of role. I think if the game was a draw up until the last few minutes, we could have seen Agüero get introduced, but not instead of Lautaro, maybe to play the two of them together. I don't know. Maybe that. Well, we will never know. But I think for Agüero is more a matter of Scaloni knowing that Agüero won't be around for
For a long time. Yeah, for a while.
a long, long time. He
Yeah.
trusts Lautaro, and he sees Agüero to play a little role in the second half, maybe.
Yeah. No, for sure. And regarding the whole Aguero and Lautaro situation, Savi 1803 writes, Lautaro's speed and good engine are very much needed up front. But when he gets his chances, he needs to take them. I agree, his confidence is lacking. And you could tell at this point, it's clearly
Yeah,
confidence. He gets the
yeah,
ball, he tries to overthink it, and you see that. You see he's
yeah,
definitely overthinking it.
yeah,
And hopefully, we have two more matches in the group, Paraguay and Bolivia. Hopefully, I mean, if he doesn't get the goal versus Paraguay, hopefully he gets it versus Bolivia because we're gonna need him. We're gonna need him in the knockouts. We
yeah,
need him already. We're scoring 1-2 goals at most. We're creating chances, which is a good thing, right? But we can't keep missing like this. Imagine you're playing Brazil and you miss as many chances as we
no,
missed.
no,
It's
no,
gonna
no, no.
cost you.
I agree absolutely. I agree with Savi as well. It's a matter of confidence. I think that's why there was another comment saying that he needs to take a breather. That
Yeah,
may be true, but I would prefer for him to keep playing because if you put him on the bench for the next game, that will shot his confidence
his
down
confidence.
even more. So it's an interesting game. There's a lot of pressure being lifted off our shoulders right now because without these 3 points, we could have been in the danger zone going
Yeah,
to play against Paraguay.
yeah,
Remember, this competition is designed to the organizers they want a final between Argentina and Brazil. They don't want
yeah,
them to play each other before time. So if you finish in the top two in our group, which today we did a lot in order to achieve
of
that,
course.
you guarantee yourself that you're not going to face the first two of the other group. Admittedly, Brazil is going to be one of those. If not
Yes,
the first, it's going to be second. But you can face them. If you finish in the top two, you can face Brazil up until the final.
till the
So
final.
tonight, I think one of the aside of the game and talking about the collateral, I think tonight that's probably the highlight for me. We won against Uruguay. Maybe
It's
the game
uh,
we were not probably expecting to win,
no.
uh, but we did. So
Yeah, when we were talking about this, we did the video yesterday. When we were
yeah,
talking, and everyone here as well in the chat, we said, or you said it's Seba, and obviously I agreed. We said maybe this is not the right opponent at the right time in Uruguay.
yeah,
But we said it. You said it. You said
Yeah,
if we lose, it could be very damaging. But if we win, it's more than the 3 points. And I think
absolutely.
this is more than the 3 points because now, after three consecutive draws, a 1-1, a 2-2, a 1-1, to not only get the win, but to get the win versus Uruguay of all teams, of all opponents, to get the win against them. Now you know, okay, I could breathe easier because you have 2 matches left in the group. First one is Paraguay up next on Monday, which hopefully, should result in a win. And the second one versus Bolivia, in all likelihood, will result in a win. So we're
Yeah,
looking at least, we have 4 points already, plus let's say three versus Bolivia, that's seven. And then who knows what happens versus Paraguay. So this
yeah,
does go a long way in terms of ensuring that we would avoid Brazil up until the finals if Argentina makes it that far.
absolutely. I was thinking also we're gonna face Paraguay. They had a bye week.
Yeah. So
So
they're rested.
Uruguay was coming from a bye week as well. So maybe there was a little bit disadvantage there for us because we were not so well rested before playing Uruguay. They were, and now we're going to face Paraguay on the back of a very demanding, very physical
Yeah.
game that we see today. Um, and this is we're probably going to talk a lot more when the time comes about Paraguay and about how we've organized for the next
Yeah.
game. But Uruguay, they are very, very fitness based team. They run and run and run and run, and there's going to be time for us to worry about Paraguay. But today, this result and this type of game gives us a different type of confidence, knowing that if we win against Paraguay, we will very likely have a
Stay.
top two place guaranteed, maybe even top spot in the group because up next is going to be Bolivia, but there will be time to talk about the permutations going into the last week of the first round. So
Yeah.
happy with the 3 points. That's very, very goes without saying. And Zach says first 25 minutes of the match was the best spell under Scaloni. I have a very short memory. I have to say, what happened, like what happened in the previous rounds of the qualifiers. But from the last few games, I think that times against Colombia, it was a
Colombia.
bit better. It was a
Yeah.
bit better than tonight. But considering the quality of the opponent, the pressure we were under, and the way that we play, uh, I have to say, uh, Zach, if you're not 100% correct, you're 99.9% correct.
Yeah.
It's a matter of opinions, of course.
Yeah, and I would probably place the performance versus Colombia and that entire first half actually versus Colombia as probably the best we've played under Scaloni in a while, at least in a while.
Mhm. Yeah,
And for once, maybe, and this is a very good question here by MN. He asks, "Are we growing into the tournament and not peaking too early?" Because we've seen it in the past where Argentina start off tournaments with 2-3-0 wins or 4-1 wins, whatever it is, and then knockout stages we get there and it's very tight and very difficult. So maybe
yeah,
this team is growing, right? They had the qualifiers where they played well, they weren't able to finish it off. Versus Chile, same thing. Now versus Uruguay, a win versus Paraguay could be huge because in all likelihood, like we said, we're probably going to get the win versus Bolivia, and then the confidence, who knows where it's going to be because we have an idea of what this team is capable of, right? Yes,
yeah,
they miss chances, but they're able to create chances. They sometimes, lapse in concentration by the defenders, absolutely. But we saw what the back line can do today. They shut down
yeah,
a team that has Suarez and Cavani, two of the deadliest strikers in South America right now. Right?
yeah,
People want to talk about Gabigol and Neymar, but those two are up there.
yeah, yeah. And talking about the question from MN, isn't that what happened in the last Copa America? I think we even lost one of the early games. I
We
think
lost to Paraguay, but Colombia
or
2-0, was it?
Colombia. I think we
Colombia
lost
2-0.
2-0 to Colombia, and I don't know if that wasn't the debut. It was the second game. It was right there. Maybe somebody in the comments can clarify for us. We're
Yeah.
live. We are not checking. We're just relying on our very bad memory. Oh, well, my very bad memory. Roy
Yeah,
has an
mine too.
excellent. Yeah, no, you have an excellent memory. But I think we did that in the Copa America in the
Yeah.
last Copa America. Yeah, Colombia 2-0. Thank you. Abul Quasem. Um, Wherever you are in the world, like I always say. Uh, and talking about it, just let us know where you're watching from. I love to be connected with people from all over the world, sharing the same passion. To me, as an Argentine, and being born in Argentina, and obviously, I was born here, and my mandate was to be a fan of Argentina, of course. But I cannot express how proud I am and how humbled I feel when I see people from so far away. They had no business supporting Argentina, but yet they chose it. And the way you support Argentina to me is emotional. Hello from Lebanon, amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
I'm.
well,
What do you think about seeing your
everyone.
friend? Would he be sleeping by now? I think he will be sleeping. Um, all the way from
Probably
Bangladesh. Bangladesh. I
from
think Bangladesh is
from
the capital
India.
of the Argentina team. Yeah.
Outside of Buenos Aires, I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
well, Malaysia, Bangladesh, India. It's everywhere. Even I mean, from
Nigeria,
Nigeria,
4 a.m. Oh my God.
4 a.m. from Nigeria. Oh, Seba, this is a good one. From this one here, from London,
London.
England,
Nice.
rain-soaked
Nice.
London. I mean, Argentina played better than England did today versus Scotland. I don't know if
I
you saw
think
the
so.
match,
I
but
think so. Yeah.
I think it
And
was
we are
nice.
the only winners. We are the only winners of the two very historic
Historical,
rivalries
yeah,
that were
yeah,
played in the same day. I watched Scotland England earlier today. I think it was fantastic. I mean, maybe the game lacked a little bit of emotion or goal scoring opportunities or something like that, but it was very great to see a team that knows that they're inferior in terms of names and you
yeah.
know um, the how you call it how
The
much the
heart that they
players are
showed,
worth. Yeah,
yeah,
but the way they play, the way they fight, that was
yeah.
amazing. But yeah, Australia. Oh my God, this is great. This is
It's a
so great.
lot, yeah.
And especially being so late for some of you guys. Maybe for some others, it's already Saturday. It's late for me. Almost. It's a bit after midnight here in Buenos Aires. But yeah, it's amazing. I'm
Yeah.
supporting in the Euros. I'm supporting Scotland. Yeah. Couple of reasons. Couple of reasons. They always show a lot of love for Maradona,
Yeah.
my hero, my childhood hero, and love him. I love him like forever. And also because I support QPR also in England, and the only QPR player that is currently playing, having some minutes, is Lyndon Dykes, who plays up
Mm.
front for Scotland. I think he fought a lot. He did a great job today. Then there's Nico Hamalainen, play for Finland, but he's not actually playing. He's a substitute.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my. I support Scotland in this competition because Ireland are not in it. Because if not, it would have been Ireland.
It would have been Ireland. There you go. See, and
And Euros,
Netherlands, Holland. I've always kind of enjoyed watching them. Forget 1998, forget that in Bergkamp,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I've always kind of I like their players. I like their style of play. It's very it's you can't really hate
uh,
on them. And I hope if it's not a World Cup and specifically not against Argentina,
uh,
but if it's not a World Cup, at least have them win a Euro
so
because
you,
it's been too
so
long.
you, so you like teams that never win, right?
And apparently, it's a curse I have. Apparently, it's a curse I have.
We're
I
gonna
like
break
teams
it.
that play
We're
well.
gonna break. We're gonna break it. We're gonna break it.
Yeah, but
Fantastic. Yeah,
look,
I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying the Euros and the Copa America. We have more matches now than in a World Cup. It's great. It's really great.
yeah, we are. It's and I'll be honest. I did not watch Chile's match earlier today. I saw the score, I saw the goal, but I didn't see the match. But there's something about it. I watched the Euros, and yes, there's obviously more teams, and there are fans obviously in the stadiums. I watch it. It's good to watch, but there's something about the Copa that's just unpredictable.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like both, and they both have different elements.
Yeah.
Watching the Euros really feels like a World Cup in so many ways.
Hmm.
And then obviously, um, I think the Copa America has a bit less dramatism in the first stage because only 2 teams out of 10 will be disqualified. So maybe the teams are more relaxed. There's less less on the
Yeah.
line for every game. Whereas at the Euros, they know if they lose a couple, they're out. I forgot to mention Italia. Italia, la mia patria, io sono metà italiano. I've lived in Italy for a while. A lot of my family comes from Italy. But most importantly, the way they're playing right now, they're joy to watch. They're amazing. And so Italy is also. You will accuse me of having so many shirts, but I have to mention all. I have to mention all.
Yeah. So going back, because this is turning, and we could talk for hours and hours, and we
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of do
yeah,
sometimes. But going back to Argentina, um, let's not forget. This is a very very good point by Moti. Right. Let's not forget Argentina played today on a disastrous pitch, and that's been the case throughout the entire Copa America, and obviously not
yeah,
just Argentina, but Brazil even. But it's once more it's bad. So I'm not expecting that free flowing passing game.
yeah. It's more for the kind of war that we see in every game here in South America. It's an element. Maybe a little bit of that is down to, or maybe a lot of that is down to this country, Brazil, not being the venue for the Copa America until a couple of days earlier, and they were not supposed to be hosting a competition like this. And also, if you remember or if you knew, there were a lot of governors in different states. Brazil is obviously such a
Mhm.
huge country. Gambia, hello Gambia, Ali. Gambia, fantastic. I feel like, I mean, this is. I swear. To me, it's like, oh my god. Um, so I was talking about Brazil. They have so many states, and they have governors in every state, and they opposed to the organization of the Copa America. So they said, okay, we can prevent you guys from bringing the Copa America here in the middle of a pandemic. Well, at least we can prevent you from playing in our states. So you see that Brasilia is one of the venues like we played tonight, but then Belo Horizonte is not, Sao Paulo is not. So a lot of big historical footballing cities are not part of the venues in Copa America, and maybe that's one of the reasons to explain why the pitch is so bad at every stadium. There's Cuiabá, Mato Grosso. These are, uh, I mean, nothing against the wonderful people of Cuiabá and Mato Grosso, but they don't have the same history as the other
Yeah.
cities that we mentioned, where we're used to seeing football being played like week in, week out, and on perfect pitches as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, the stadiums in Brazil and the teams you're looking like Palmeiras or Flamengo or Santos. These are all teams that in the big cities where you would normally have a lot of football being played, and as you mentioned, Seba, now
Yeah,
it's Brazil's not even. I mean, we've spoken about the Copa and everything, but
yeah,
I guess at the end of the day, I don't know if we're lucky, depending on whatever way you want to spin it, but I guess we're lucky that we're even getting a Copa at this point.
of course. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Because we're not liking the circumstances. Hello, Egypt,
no,
Soliman.
Egypt, there you go.
It's crazy late for you up there. What are you
It's
doing
it's
watching? I mean,
it's early morning. I think it's nearly 5 or 6 a.m. in
oh my
Egypt.
god, oh my god.
Melania from South Africa. Wow.
Yeah, Africa
Beautiful.
coming strong. Yeah, fantastic. Nigeria, South
Yeah.
Africa, Gambia, Egypt. I mean, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell my mother.
Singapore.
I'm gonna tell my mom tomorrow when she wakes up. She's gonna know about this. She's gonna feel so proud.
Oh,
Right. So what's
absolutely.
next? What's next for Argentina? What do you guys expect against Paraguay? Would you like to see the same formation, same lineup? Just tell us. Let us know. What do you think is going to be the score? Even if you feeling, if you are anticipating the game that much.
Hmm.
But yeah, what do you think of Argentina in this competition? How long
Yeah.
can we get?
Yeah.
We all want the same. We all want the same game, right? We all want it. I mean,
Yeah.
even if we're gonna suffer, we want to see that game.
Absolutely. And something, well, regarding the games, and Rathjit, if I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, writes, I am from India. Do you think the refereeing was better today as compared to the last match? Personally, I think it was. I thought the referee today got all of his calls, or at least most of his calls, really spot on.
Yeah,
And forget
yeah.
the penalty and the fact that it went away even.
Yeah, you know what? I read some like very specific statistic after the game against Chile because I felt the game was interrupted a lot. You know, there was not it was not very fluid. And then I went to check, and it was the game was stopped for 59 minutes. I mean, it was the net time was very very low, and today I think it was different. If I tell you before the game which game is going to be more, interrupted, hard fought,
Argentina,
cut,
Uruguay.
Uruguay or Chile? Uruguay, of course, but it was against Chile. Maybe the pitch was bad as well. Maybe any of the teams, none of the teams play at the top of the game, but it was really interrupted, and I think the referee had something to do with that. Come to think about it,
Yeah.
and I have to agree with the comment that we previously had on the screen from India. I don't see it again, anymore,
So
but
so we're kind of I'm gonna ask you this question, Tim, and I know we're kind of jumping ahead, but let's say Argentina get the win versus Paraguay. Do you rest Messi versus Bolivia?
I'm going to tell you who doesn't want this to happen. Lionel Messi. He doesn't want to rest. He wants to play. I mean, and go and tell him, okay, I need you to sit down and take a week. He doesn't know what to do with his time. He wants to play.
Well,
He wants to be there all the time. But I would,
well,
yeah, of course. If we beat
you would.
Paraguay, I would because he's coming off the back of a very demanding season, a lot of traveling, a lot of noise. Remember, it wasn't an easy, normal season for Messi because it ended up in frustration with frustration for Barcelona. But he was on the verge of leaving the club. There was a lot of turmoil, and he feels like the contrary of what happened before. He had a hard time every time he came to play for Argentina, and he needed to be back in Barcelona to be in control and to be successful, win every game, be supported. And now it's tables have turned. He doesn't enjoy his time at Barcelona that much, and you know it better because you follow Barcelona
Yeah.
a lot more than I do. Um, but don't you feel is a bit of the opposite in the last few years that Messi enjoys more playing for Argentina than for Barcelona? Is that a valid point, you think?
Absolutely, no, absolutely, absolutely. You had that period, obviously, where God rest his soul, when Maradona was there, and then Batista. So you had that period where you could tell he didn't enjoy too much going to Argentina. You had that period when Sabella was there, where yes, he was doing good and he was doing great with Barcelona, but it was almost as if he really enjoyed himself a lot more going, with Argentina. And then, with Sampaoli and Bausa and Tata Martino. Tata Martino, maybe to a certain degree, he kind of still enjoyed it. But you could tell that period from 2016 or 2017 up until arguably 2019,
Mhm.
Messi did not enjoy coming to Argentina. And
Yeah.
since then, it's been the opposite. It has really
Yeah.
been the opposite.
Remember, after the World Cup, he said, "I had enough.
Yeah.
This is not working for me," and he quit the national team for a couple of hours or a good few hours. To me, that was the end of the world. But it ended up in it was just the heat of the moment. He felt robbed after the game against Brazil, but he's now back into his flow. He's really enjoying. So my answer would be, yeah, I would rest him for the Bolivia game, give Papu Gomez well-deserved time with the national team because apparently Scaloni doesn't want to play them together. I would
Yeah.
play Messi and Papu together, and Papu. Um, but he's gonna say no. Messi's gonna say, "Play me. I'm good. I have two legs. Just play me." But yeah, I agree with that comment. I
Yeah.
agree also with Jatin. He says the team has a lot of potential. Absolutely. This is what we've been discussing in previous videos. We are finally seeing some transition. We are finally seeing players that have 5, 7, 10 years of a very good career ahead of them, and they could play another decade for the national team. But it
Mhm.
was they needed an opportunity, and Scaloni is giving that to them. You have to give
Yeah.
credit to Scaloni for that.
No, definitely, definitely, and a couple of people, because you mentioned it. I know you just got it mixed up. You had mentioned after Messi retired after the World Cup. Obviously, it was the Copa America, not the World Cup. You
I
got a
said
couple
the
of
World Cup.
people.
Oh, I meant
Yeah,
the World Cup, the Copa America in
I
Brazil,
know.
the previous one.
I
It felt
know.
like
No,
a
it's
World
because
Cup to me. Sorry.
I know. No, no, no. It's okay because a couple of people
Yeah,
were
yeah.
commenting like, "Are you sure you meant World Cup and not Copa?"
No, I meant the Copa
But
America, of course.
yeah, that was scary. That was definitely scary. And when you look at this team, and it's true, this team does have potential. Emi Martinez, Christian Romero, Molina, probably Paredes, De Paul, Lo Celso, maybe Nicolas Gonzalez, and obviously Lautaro Martinez. So you're looking at 7, 8 players that will be or should be the core or the
Yeah,
base of the team for at least the next 5 years, at least
yeah, yeah,
until the
absolutely.
World Cup in 2026.
Yeah, no,
So
no doubt. We didn't see
yeah,
that before. We went to the
no,
World Cup a couple of years ago, and we didn't see that. We were thinking about, okay, what's going to happen with when Messi retires? We have nothing. We have all to do.
yeah,
There's Mascherano will leave, everybody will leave, and then what's next? And now
yeah.
all of a sudden, the future doesn't look that dark anymore.
No,
So it's
no,
good.
it
It's
doesn't.
good.
Obviously, I'm not even going to get into Messi. I'm not. We're not going to talk about this.
You were
No,
gonna mention it once again.
no.
I told you.
I
I
was
told
gonna
you not
add.
to
No,
do
no,
it.
no, 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 no. Wait, I was going to say something to add to what you said about Messi, but
Ah, okay,
I'm not
okay,
even. That's why I'm not even going to
okay, okay,
mention that.
okay.
I'm
But
not
you
even
made me
going
think
to.
about it. That makes me
I
upset.
did nothing. You're
I
talking.
had
I'm
to.
doing
I had
nothing.
to.
Drink. It's good. You have to.
Yeah, but for other reasons, because you made me sad.
Oh my
Oh my
god!
god.
But no, so yeah, so coming up, it's Argentina versus Paraguay on Monday, and then I believe we get the bye. So prior to
Yeah.
facing Bolivia, we get the bye there. So who knows? Maybe the players get a couple of days extra rest, and maybe Scaloni changes some players, rests some players versus Bolivia.
Mhm.
So we go into the knockout games
Yeah.
fresh, hopefully.
Yeah. Also on Monday, we have, just before our game, Uruguay and Chile will play, and that will be. I will be keeping two eyes on that because
Yeah,
that would probably be very important for us. If Chile wins, they're going to stay at the top of the
tough.
group, and with a win for us, it could mean that it's game over in terms of who finishes in the top two. If
Mhm.
Chile get a win, they will be with 7 points. If we get a win, we get 7 points, and Uruguay will be on zero with only 2 games to go. So that's a lot at stake for
Of
Uruguay
course.
right there. I'm not saying they could be out because they're going to beat Bolivia. They have all to play for against Paraguay, but if you're looking at the potential top two, it's a must win for Uruguay now. So it's good.
Yeah.
That's another good point for us. We won. We took the pressure off our shoulders and we put them
It's
in Uruguay's shoulder now.
on Uruguay, exactly. And it's kind of like that because we started off versus our two first matches in the Copa on paper, anyways,
Toughest,
are the
yeah.
most are the most difficult. Chile, Uruguay,
Mhm.
then Paraguay, and then Bolivia. Whereas Uruguay is the same, but Chile kind of got Chile played Bolivia today, managed only a 1-0 win. So for us, the advantage for us is we play Bolivia last. So if it
Mhm.
does come down to goal difference,
Yeah.
because let's say Chile versus Uruguay will be tough. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know who's gonna win. I would assume if Chile wins, it won't be by more than one goal. I assume. So that's gonna be difficult. That's gonna be tough. And then them and Paraguay. So we know
Yeah.
that for us going into the last match versus Bolivia, we will know or we will have an idea of how much we need to score, how much we need to score
Absolutely.
potentially in order to finish first in the
And
group.
also, Chile will have a bye week in the last one. It has to, no?
I believe.
Because if they're playing, they already played two and they play on Monday,
Yes.
so that's three. Okay, they will have a bye
In the
in
last
the
one. So
last.
we so
Yeah,
we go up against Bolivia knowing exactly what we need
no,
to potentially finish first.
absolutely. We are getting ahead of ourselves.
Well,
Obviously, we are, we are in the heat of the
very.
moment.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, going back
Yeah.
to the game, all in all, a fantastic performance.
Absolutely.
This is a fixture I always want to win because there's a lot of pressure on Argentina. Um, Also, I read or heard during the time during the night that today maybe somebody can confirm. Today was the
1,000.
1000th game for Argentina in history. So it's good to mark it with a win. That is a fantastic milestone. A lot of
Yeah.
memories. I don't know how many of those I've seen. Obviously, there were a lot of games that happened before I was born, but uh, to mark it with a win, as I said, is fantastic. It's a great accomplishment.
It's and not only a win, but a win versus Uruguay, a win where we needed that win and that gave us the
Yeah,
3 points. So absolutely celebrating 1,000 the way they did it through a Guido Rodriguez goal of all players on the pitch of not Messi, not Lautaro, not Nickness,
yeah.
not Di Maria who came on, not Correa, not De Paul or even Lo Celso, but the defensive midfielder who should never have started got the goal in the 1,000th match for Argentina.
Amazing, amazing.
Seba, any final
Yeah.
thoughts?
Final thoughts? No, just want to thank everybody who's been talking to us. That's what makes it worthwhile for us. I hope you stay safe throughout the pandemic. I would like to wave you hello and goodbye to every continent, and happy with the win. That's I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself. Top G, as in top Guido. Yeah,
There you go.
it's a bit of a coincidence, but very very happy with the win. I hope we do another one like this in a very happy mood. Um,
Absolutely.
and thanks, Zach, and everybody who's been commenting and making
Yeah,
this worthwhile and very enjoyable.
absolutely. Absolutely. I echo your exact sentiments. It's fun talking to you, Seba, but it makes it that much more interesting when we get the comments and the love that we get from all around the world, as we mentioned
Yeah,
previously.
yeah.
It's not specific to one country. It's really
Cheers, everyone.
everywhere. There you go. And Seba's drinking on behalf of everyone. And on behalf of Seba, my name is Roy Nemmer
Oh,
of Mundo. I'm joined by I was joined by the one, the only Seba Garcia, who apparently plans on finishing a bottle of wine. And who could blame him? It's Friday
I'm not.
night.
I'm not.
No? Okay, well, he says no, but we never know. So, my name is Roy Nemmer. I'm joined, as always, by Seba Garcia. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Absolutely love this. Love the chat. Argentina versus Paraguay on Monday. Like the video if you haven't already, if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. What are you missing out? You're missing out on a lot. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you never miss a thing in regards to Argentina. And until next time, my name is Roy Nemmer. This is Seba Garcia. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Vamos, 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 Argentina. See you.
Everyone. Have a good one.